Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In this week's video, we are going to be painting our flower drawing from our project series. If you are not familiar with this series, I'm showing you how I complete a larger project from start to finish. In this video, I will be doing a tutorial on how to paint this flower. If you are new to my channel or unfamiliar with this mini-series and would like to catch up, I will leave the video links in the cards above as well as in the description box down below. In the previous videos, I showed you how to grid a drawing to get a perfect result every time. Then I showed you how I tear my paper in a quick tip video. And lastly, I went over several ways that you can transfer your own drawing using different materials and techniques. In each of these videos, I talk about the materials that I'm using, but if you would like a complete list, all of them are listed in the description box down below. Also in my description box is a link to my Patreon page. This is where I put all of my longer format and real-time tutorials for those of you who want to take these tutorials to the next level. Not only do I put longer, more in-depth tutorials over on Patreon, but I also include all of the assets for completing these tutorials. This includes reference photos, my own personal sketch for you to use, color mixes, swatches, and a tip sheet for the tutorial. Now getting started with this painting, I want to work on our first glaze, or our base layer first. Think of this as sort of an underpainting. This layer is going to lay the groundwork for our painting going forward. This is going to help us establish the directional flow of our petals, help us establish where our deeper values will be, and to help us understand our drawing before we risk losing our sketch lines during the painting. For this painting, I'm using Daniel Smith watercolors, and I'm mostly using our quinacridone pink with just a little bit of Indian yellow. Our goal is not to make orange with our mix, but rather to warm up our pink slightly. This step can be done a bit loosely, however do keep in mind the purpose for this glaze. I do this step with a larger number 3 brush, and I don't worry too much about my water control or whether or not my areas are wet or dry. I let the paint and water act normally and freely. I don't worry about watermarks, color bleeds, or even if my paper is dry or staying wet. It doesn't matter. What does matter is that I am making sure to keep my goal in mind, and that is to establish a foundation for my painting going forward. Take care to go through and do each petal mindfully. Remember, all of the detail to come will be much easier and more intuitive if we get this step right. That's not to say if you don't like something in this step, you need to start over, because you absolutely don't. Any mistakes can be covered, but you do have to pay a bit closer attention to your work going forward if you do. Once you finish this first glaze, I recommend taking a break and letting the paper dry completely. For all of our glazes going forward, I want to make sure to do these wet on dry. Remember, our glazes are basically our layers of paint. And the wet on dry means that my paper will be dry while I paint, so with a wet brush on dry paper. This means that I allow my paper to dry between adding details. The purpose of using this wet on dry technique is to make sure that all of the details that we are putting into this painting will stay crisp and precise. It will also allow us to keep our colors accurate without bleeding. All of our glazes going forward are going to be detail glazes. This means that we will be using a small brush to slowly add detail to our painting. These details are to add texture to our individual petals, to increase color and depth, adding shadow and interest to the final painting. This is a pretty intricate flower with lots of small details, so it will take time to complete. This doesn't mean that it's a difficult painting. The repetition actually makes it a very beginner-friendly project, but it does mean that it will probably take a few painting sessions to complete. I have detailed how I've broken up this process in my Patreon tutorial if you are interested. For this part of the painting, I'm using a pretty small brush in a size 1. The brand doesn't necessarily matter, but the shape is important. I personally look for round brushes. I like that they have a nice taper for intricate detail work, but a belly to hold paint and water. Also, the shorter bristles allow for more control versus something like a rigger brush. If you have or prefer a rigger or another similar brush, then use that. There's no reason that you have to use the exact same materials as me. I'm just sharing what I use for those who want a recommendation or know what I prefer. If you are curious about the brand that I'm using, it's the Winsor & Newton Cotman line of brushes. This smaller brush is our second of 3 brushes in the middle size as we get tighter on our details. This is where I will start to add the texture of the petals. One thing I also did at this stage was mix up the paint colors that I would be using going forward to help keep them consistent throughout the painting and to save time. I mixed up the same color for our first glaze, but more concentrated. This allows us to use it at various dilutions going forward. That mix being our quinacridone pink and Indian yellow. The second color is quinacridone fuchsia with our quinacridone pink. For our painting, as you can see, I am following the curves of our petals that have been established by both in our sketch and in our first glaze. The sketch lines allow for a more granular flow pattern, whereas our first glaze gives us a better idea of where the darkest values will be. I want to make sure to follow these flow patterns in the petals to create a natural flow to our flower. While painting this, please note that not all petals are the same, despite being part of the same flower. They are each layered differently and have a different flow, curves, shadows, and specific details. By following these individual details of each petal, you create a more natural and believable painting. While I'm painting, I'm being sure to have a light hand with my brush, being sure to leave thin line details on the paper. These lines are short but densely packed together as I lightly move my brush back and forth over the paper in a pendulum motion with only the tips of the bristles hitting the paper in the center. We aren't creating zigzag brush strokes, but rather small dashed lines as we go back and forth. I don't want these to be too thick or bold, however, don't stress too much over mishaps that may happen. They will not be noticeable in the final painting after our other glazes, and also, this flower has some larger spotted details on some of the petals, and these larger line details can easily pass for more of those spots. As I'm painting, I'm first using my pink color, and I'm paying attention to where I want my darkest areas to be, and where I want my detail to flow. This is done in a medium dilution in my darker areas, and I'm diluting my paint as necessary to lighter areas. I'm doing this a bit lighter because these are my midtones, and they're going to be my textural detail in the petals. This is most of what you will see in the final painting. Be sure to follow these all the way to where the details meet the petals above them, and to leave a bit of white space at the edges of our petals. I'm making sure to keep my lines consistent with my brush strokes and techniques. Since these are smaller details, they tend to dry pretty quickly, and once I'm done with my base glaze and midtones, I can go in and add some darker and more concentrated details. These darker details will almost be like the highlighted areas within the detail that we've already created. Of course, I don't mean literal highlights, just in terms of where we have the most detail and depth. We aren't covering the same area completely all over again, but instead, we are simply adding smaller, darker areas of color for depth and higher contrast. I recommend paying attention to the reference to really make sure that you are getting these details right and making sure to keep them unique to each petal. For petals with yellow towards the center, we want to have a warmer, less saturated yellow for this, and we want it to blend in with our pink details. We are using the same colors, but reversed in their ratios, so mostly Indian yellow with a bit of our quinacridone pink, but not enough to make orange, just a slightly warmer yellow. Keep the paint diluted, and once you paint the most inward part of the petal, begin flicking your brush outwards towards the pink details, using the same type of texture as we used in the pink areas. We want these to all blend together. While I'm using this warmer yellow color, I'm also going in to see where I can use some warmer touches in my petals. We don't want to overdo this color, but there are some warmer details in our petals, both throughout and, on occasion, at the very end of our petals at the white tips. Go through and complete this step for all of your other petals. Once you've finished most of your petal details, it's time to start to narrow in on some of the final details in the petals. For this, I chose to use a very small brush, a quadruple zero. This step is really for those of you who want to create a more realistic look up close. If you know your painting will be viewed only from a distance, or even if you just don't want to further detail your petals, feel free to skip this step. I personally like for my paintings to have a lot of detail up close. I take the same color mixes from earlier for this step, and I really start to fill out some of the patchy line work. The patterning in these petals is very random and piecey, so I'm not trying to undo that with flat color, but I am trying to add more texture for a softer look at this step. Also, I'm going in and adding more depth in some areas, like shadow areas and folds. Lastly, I'm also trying to add some light details to the whiter areas of the petals to give them even more dimension. Once the petals are finally done, it's time to start working on the center of our flower. For the yellow, I'm using my Indian yellow and I'm painting the entire center section. Once dried, I'm using a darker brown like a sepia to paint all around the small circular details. Feel free to add a bit of depth to the yellow areas by painting in some darker yellow shadow areas. And now we have our final flower painting. Like I said, this is a pretty detailed painting, so allow yourself some extra time to paint it and enjoy the process. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you followed along, I would love it if you would tag me in your own paintings. If you did enjoy this video, I would love it if you would consider subscribing to my channel, like this video, and leave a comment down below. Also, if you know anyone who may find this video helpful, feel free to share it with them. These are all free, quick, and easy ways to support my channel that help more than you might think, and they mean the world to me. If you want a way to monetarily support my channel, then I have my Patreon page and my Ko-fi account linked down below. Patreon also has the added bonus of getting a few extra perks. I hope you are all having a wonderful day, and I will see you next week. Bye!